There's good news. It's August 29th, 2023, and Nick Bosa still hasn't reported to the 49ers or signed his extension. I guess that's not good news. I guess that's more bad news. It's a really good team. It's a lot of bad news entering the season. It's less than 2 weeks away, fewer than 2 weeks away. Is it time for people to get concerned about this? Is this going toward like Bosa requesting a trade or?
Well, before we get to Bosa, let's talk about, is there a black cloud over this team?
Let's talk about that. Absolutely.
Because he's part of the cloud. And
Yeah.
then we could talk about him specifically. Would that be okay?
Yes.
There are 3 black clouds over this team. One was the whole Trey Lance saga, which is over now, but lingers and may linger if they don't do well.
Yeah.
The second is Bosa, and we'll come back to him specifically. But here is your best defensive player, maybe even your best player. And he's silent. He's missed the entire training camp. Iggy, did he go to mini camps and that stuff?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So he's been missing. And now it's less than a fortnight until the season starts. And they have nothing to say. Kyle said he expected it to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that. You expected it, so that makes it good.
Yeah,
that makes it good. And the third is the kickers. The one guy they put on the injured reserve, or whatever they call it, who wasn't a factor anyway, and this poor Moody, who may be having a psychological breakdown. We don't know about him, so we don't even know what's going to happen. Now, look, if they start really well, you had said earlier today, if they start 5-0, all this means nothing.
Nothing.
Bupkis, garnished. It's nothing if they start 5-0. But I would say at least this. It's not how you want to start a season. You want to start a season like, we're ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We got Bosa. We got a kicker. We're happy with our quarterbacks.
We're going to win the fucking Super Bowl.
Right.
We're going to win the fucking Super Bowl. Now it's like, maybe it just feels like a team that isn't all that it feels like the kind of team that loses in the first round of the playoffs to a team that's inferior to them. And you're like, what happened? What happened this year?
It just feels like, you know how you want a team to come together. You have to come together. And this is more with football teams than any other sport.
Men.
They have to come together before the season. It feels like there's some stragglers out there that maybe the ropes are not a little frayed or not as strong as they used to be. And again, I think the perfect image, Iggy, is when Lance did that great pass and Debo and Ayuk ran into the end zone. They were very excited. And I think, one, because they like him, two, because he's a black quarterback.
Yeah.
And now they have to take that back. How do they feel now? They don't see him in the locker room. Do they feel? Yeah. I mean, how are they feeling? So what I'm saying is, this may be the greatest team ever, and we're going to find out. But it's no, I'm serious. This may be a great team.
Could be.
I'm not saying they're going to suck, but I don't think this is the way you want to be 12 days before the season starts with a very tough game in Pittsburgh.
Right, because they've just been to back-to-back NFC Championship games. They've been on the doorstep 2 years in a row, and you're thinking they got to do something different this year to get over the hump. Something different isn't ruin your kicker situation, alienate Nick Bosa, make your quarterback room worse, like make your offensive line worse. I mean, this kind of feels like taking a step back. Now, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll work it out. But it just feels like more like, it feels kind of like Harbaugh's last year, where it just feels off from the beginning.
That's right. You know, that's a good point you're making. I really thought and think Harbaugh is a great coach. But there was something sour, Iggy, from the start of that season. There was something sour. And you felt it. Games they should have won, they didn't win. Games they were ahead, they got taken over. And you think, this is Harbaugh? This is happening under his watch? And you wonder if it almost feels like that. But again, I have something else to say. I don't want people to say the Cohns are so negative. The Cohns are haters. And a lot of people, when they write that to me, they always put an apostrophe and apostrophe S. It's not a possessive, it's a plural.
Get it right.
Anyway, get it right,
Get
even
it
if you're
right.
putting us down. But we're not saying that. I think this is a very good team, and I think their quarterback is going to be very good for them up to a certain point, beyond which he needs to prove himself.
Yeah.
But we're just saying 12 days before the season, you don't want it to feel
No.
sour. You don't want these things. It's hard to win every single game in the NFL, and you don't want this.
It kind of reminds me of the Warriors from last year. I mean, they had just won
Same thing.
a championship, and then right before the season starts, Draymond clocks Jordan Poole in the face, and it's like, you know what? That's probably not the best thing for the team, and it wasn't, and they fell apart, and now Jordan Poole's gone, and it just feels like, I don't know if the Niners are going to fall apart like that, but it's not what you want. It doesn't help, these things. It doesn't help.
No.
It could hurt.
In fact, when you start the season as a football team, you're not you.
Yeah.
You want to feel you're playing with joy.
Mm-hmm.
We're terrific. We're the best, and we love the challenge. And we're gonna destroy this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they feel now, Iggy. Let's get to Bosa because it's very interesting. And before you speak, I want to say
real quick. This is a team that's had started slow 3 years in a row. They're trying to start fast this year. They're not really looking like a team that's going to do that.